The stagecoach lurched to a halt, its wheels groaning against the cracked, sun-baked earth of Redstone, Wyoming. Dust swirled in the air, clinging to Clara Beaumont's faded blue dress as she stepped down, clutching her worn carpetbag with both hands. The sky above was a bruised purple, heavy with the promise of rain, but the town itself felt parched, as if it had forgotten what moisture was. Redstone was little more than a scattering of weathered buildings, a saloon with a sagging porch, a general store with a crooked sign, and a handful of shacks leaning into the wind. Clara's green eyes, once bright with the optimism of youth, scanned the empty street for a sign of welcome. There was none. Her heart sank, the weight of the letter in her pocket pulling it down further. Changed my mind. Don't come. The words, scrawled in Amos Tate's careless hand, had arrived 2 days ago at a stagecoach stop in Nebraska, shattering the fragile hope that had carried her across 1,000 miles. Clara was 23, with auburn hair that hung limply after days of travel and a face that bore the faint lines of a life harder than most. She'd left Boston with nothing but the promise of a new start as a mail-order bride, fleeing the ghosts of her father's drunken rages and her mother's quiet, consumptive death. Amos Tate, a rancher she'd never met, had seemed like salvation in his letters, plain-spoken, promising a modest home and a steady life. She'd clung to those words, imagining a man who'd value her for more than her cooking or her ability to mend a shirt. But now, standing in the dust of Redstone, she was alone, penniless, and rejected. The stagecoach driver tipped his hat, muttered something about schedules, and cracked the reins. The horses snorted, and the coach rumbled away, leaving her in a cloud of grit. She tightened her grip on the carpetbag, her only possessions, 2 dresses, a worn Bible, and a locket with her mother's faded photograph, pressing against her hip. The wind tugged at her bonnet, and she adjusted it, her fingers trembling slightly. Clara had survived too much to crumble now. She'd faced hunger, cold, and the leering eyes of men on the long journey west. She could face this. But the question gnawed at her, what now? Redstone offered no answers, only the distant clink of glasses from the saloon and the faint howl of the wind through the hills. She squared her shoulders and started toward the general store, hoping to find someone who might know Amos Tate, someone who could tell her why he'd abandoned her without so much as a word of explanation. Across the street, Sheriff Elias Kane leaned against the porch post of his office, his hazel eyes tracking the woman's arrival with a mix of curiosity and concern. Redstone didn't see many strangers, and certainly not ones like her, slender, with a quiet grace that belied the exhaustion in her posture. Her auburn hair caught the fading light, and the stubborn set of her jaw told him she wasn't one to be